we started the system was to maximize it. That's an option you didn't have before. Did everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. I was talking originally about system settings. We have multiple more options. This is under the hood, things that determine your rules. How do you price permits? What kind of values do you use? Do you have separate fee schedules for trade permits? Do you charge a surcharge? In Virginia, of course, we do. Anything that's this particular set of data is from a client in Western Illinois, I think. So they don't have the Virginia levy like we do. So it's turned off for them. But this is where it would appear on the first screen. And this did not change. This is the same as what you've got now. You'll notice there's tabs along the bottom. There's no more next page button. You can move directly to the page you want by just clicking on the tab. And you'll notice the edit and main menu buttons are now in the status bar at the bottom of the screen, across the bottom. That's how all master files will now work. The buttons have been moved to make room, and they were, quite frankly, taking up too much room before. If you go to the names and minimum fees, you have the same options. If you click edit, this all shows up. You can see what your defaults are. And you have the same options. Do you collect the money? Do you print a separate receipt? Do you charge a plan review fee? You know, things like that. That's all in here. And then office info, of course, where do you live? What is your, what logo do you want to use, or city seal? That will display now. Permit options, we have lots more. A lot of it is the same. The biggest difference will be in how permit expiration dates are calculated. Now, let's see, I've got folks from South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, etc., and Pennsylvania. I think, Jackie, you were there. I'm not sure how, if it's standard. And we have some clients who say, okay, when the permit's issued, it's a fixed expiration date. They have 18 months, or they have 6 months, whatever it is, based on type of permit. So you can say, okay, now we want a fixed expiration date, or want to say, okay, it's a moving expiration date like we do in Virginia. If you call for an inspection every 5 months and 29 days, your permit stays active. You don't have a deadline. And then at the bottom, we have another choice that we added. If you want to do certificate of occupancy heading for all COs, or if you also issue a certificate of completion for, say, an interior remodel, that type of thing, where you don't, it's not a new building, but you need to issue a certificate of completion, you have that option now. Inspections haven't changed very much. It's the usual stuff. If you want to schedule, how many minutes between inspections got added, and do you want to insert the current date when you edit an inspection? That's a new option. On the upper right, there's yet another one. When you look up permits from within, inspections from within a permit, you can choose, go directly to the record. You can see and edit the inspection record from the permit, or you can look up the history, get the history report, or you can say, let me choose whenever I do this option, whenever I click that, and we'll demonstrate that. And then the approvals page. The approvals page has not changed. You know, what departments need to sign off on a permit, and do you have any paperwork requirements? And does that all make sense to everybody?
Yes, Jean, can you make it full size?
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, this is a problem. All the bugs are not worked out. This is about 90% complete. There's a piece of software that needs to be written to make that not be so draggy. I just haven't implemented it. I was more concerned about getting features in than having screen redraws be more smooth. Okay. So again, the layout pretty much stayed the same. You know, we didn't want you to have to relearn how to do basic functions. You know, master tables all look the same. You have contractors. Oh, I'm sorry, I clicked inspection notes. My apologies. Contractors. And that, again, it's the same information, name and address, what kind of contractor are they. We've added 2 more email addresses per the request of Ron Wilson from Bradley County, Tennessee. Your navigation button is now in the lower left, and it tells you how many records you have. Your find buttons are going to change. Find, this is now based on SQL Server, so you don't have to read the records in order to get the list. You just say find by name, and it gives you the whole list, and you can scroll top to bottom in a matter, you know, in 1 second or less. They have 576 records, so you can see there's no, you don't have to enter the first character of the name in order for the system to retrieve it. You no longer have a read each record individually. SQL Server grabs the whole database in record time. So if we want to go to Wilson Pools, we just go to Wilson Pools. Does that all make sense to everybody? Can you tell the difference in speed? I'm not sure. Like Jennifer, are you still there? I can't tell. And Ashley, when you're looking at the system,
yes,
you know how it takes sometimes can take a while to build a list. This
Correct.
is pretty instantaneous. And that's true on most of the drop downs. Like we have expiration dates, we have, you know, you look up a contractor, you look up a project code. It's it's the way SQL Server works is I've got it run, my database is running on a 6-year-old Gateway laptop, and it's still that fast. So I'm sure that whatever server your installation will have is going to be an upgrade from that. And then the master tables are all the same: parcels, mechanics liens, type of values per square foot, account numbers. All of that has not changed. The biggest difference is in the inspection types and project codes. We've added the ability to associate an inspection type with something that ISO is looking for. If you have ever been audited by ISO, which is Insurance Standards Organization or something like that, where they come to your office and say, we want to know how many permits of these types you've issued and how many inspections of these types go with those types of permits. And if you're doing blanket permits where you only issue one and it covers all the trades, it's difficult to separate them out when it comes time to complete that report. So we've added this in the inspection module, and in the project code module, there's also, so you might call it one thing and they call it something else. Well, how do you translate that? And the project code table will let you do that. You call it one thing, what do they call it? That they only have these 12 categories. So you might have more project codes. So which one does this fall under? And that way, when you do your ISO report, it just spits out the numbers, and you can fill out their paperwork in a matter of 2 minutes instead of having to go through your records to figure out where this inspection should go. All right, and fee tables haven't changed. It's the usual. Again, you have what kind of fee is it, description on the top, code, description, rate, and account number, and find. That's all that has not changed. Okay, am I going too fast for anybody?
Hello, Jean. How are you?
Oh, I am fine, Ian. Folks, I'd like to mention this. Ian is a longtime colleague and has helped me out for many, many years, 15, 20 years, Ian, probably?
Not quite. Perhaps back to 2013, 2012, perhaps.
I'm thinking back to the forums where we first communicated.
Yeah.
Long time.
I'm looking at what you're saying. I'm looking at what you're showing to people. So it's great.
Thank you. Ian is based outside of Paris, France, folks. So he's visiting us from a long way away, 6 hours ahead of us. Welcome, Ian. I'm so glad that you were able to make it.
I had to load the WebEx meetings software.
Oh, okay.
The browser wouldn't handle it. Okay.
Oh, I got you. Okay, good to know.
Thank you, Sherry Anderson.
Good morning, Jean.
Okay. Sorry, say again, Ashley?
You have some questions on the side as for chat. Can you enlarge the page?
It is full screen on my system now.
Okay. Also, can you start typing a contractor names and it narrows down the list?
I think we have that, but I'm not positive. No, not on this. On the when you join a permit, I believe it works on that. This is a different time. This is just a list. This is not a lookup, a drop-down lookup. This is just a list. But I'll show you on the permits how that works, because that's what you're looking for. Let me move the chat window to where I can see it separate. Okay. All right. Does that answer your question for now? Okay, let's move on to permits. We'll look at 1 and C. Again, you have the same lookup options. And you can see we've narrowed some of this down, like the contractor's address and contact information and contractor license information. There was no need to repeat that in the permit. Same thing for mechanics, lien agents. And for, it's the same layout, job address, city, state, zip code, application date, subdivision code. Again, you want to know on the subdivision code. Let's see, if I do an H, yes, I type a letter and the list jumps to the first that follows that. And the contractors will work the same way.
Okay. Can you go back out and start over again? Because it looked like I missed something, please.
Sure. Let's go back, main menu. Okay, on permits, I'm going to bring up a permit that's already been issued.
Okay, so it's edit. Okay, okay.
Okay. I just bring one up that's already been issued. We'll do a new one later on. But if you're looking for a subdivision code or you're looking for a contractor, you simply click the down arrow, type a letter, and the list jumps to whatever it is you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, on the side where it says applicant and it says same, is that something that automatically pops up, or that's something that you had to put in there?
No, that's something I just put in there. I tell people if the contact name is the same as the contractor's contact, just put the word same. There's no need to repeat that it's James Rodnick in that field. That's just a clue. I tell people to eliminate extra typing. Okay, and then of course contractors is a drop-down list, just like always. And You have your mechanics lien agents, you have project description, your primary and secondary types of construction if you need that, sprinkler system, code version, and then, of course, number of stories, rooms and bedrooms, etc. And then we've added water source and power company if you track that. Now, this is for existing work. So we don't have to add whether it's new construction or residential or commercial. We have all that is still there. Now this is a building permit. On trade permits, you will no longer be asked whether it's new or existing work. It's existing unless it's attached to a new construction building permit. There was no reason to ask that question. Okay, second page is about approvals, which hasn't changed. Layout's pretty much the same. But we have added the ability to add photographs and documents to the permit itself and to inspections and to code enforcement inspections. So if you attach a photo, I don't have pictures of construction, I only have pictures of dogs. So I'm gonna go get a couple. Let's see, where's my favorite? Oh, here we go. Oh, yes, I know, it's already there. Okay. I've already uploaded that. It belongs to another record. So I can't do both. But you can see, you can upload you can do PDFs and or pictures. So you can attach those to that. You'll notice when I says got Boston, it means I'm a Boston Terrier rescue foster mom. So I have lots of pictures of Boston.
I have a question, Jean.
Yes.
How many pictures? Is there a limit on it?
No.
How many we can load? Okay.
Nope. No, there is not.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah. Having it stored in the database itself, no more shared drives. Nobody has to know where it is physically anymore. It's stored in the database itself.
Perfect.
So that anybody can retrieve it. So, okay, attach and then move on to the fee screen. The biggest change is that the payment information has been moved to the far right. And you'll notice this is a permit that's been issued. So everything is grayed out. You can't change it unless you change it back to a status 1. There's no change in the expiration date or who issued it or any of that information. Anything that affects the money is grayed out once it's been issued. Now, I had a question for y'all. If we're doing a permit that's not new construction, should I turn off the issue CO button?
No, because when we do ours, if it's for renovations, we also issue out a certificate of completion.
Okay.
So we have to click that part to get to the completion.
Okay. Now we have that option in the system settings, whether you issue a C certificate of completion or not. So if you do that, we should leave it turned on. But if you don't, Beth, can I get your input on this? If you don't issue a certificate of completion for renovations, let's say, should I turn off the issue CO button?
No, because we issue certificate of completion, and the reason why, because we're dealing with a lot of rehabs and disaster homes.
Right. Yeah, Ashley, I know that, but if I can base it on the system options. Well, we can deal with that. I'll ask that on particular when we do your install. I'll just make that a system option then.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And then reprint. We'll reprint this permit. I will not print the receipt right now. Just one copy. And I've asked in system options. You have an option to preview the permit before you can always do it or never do it, whichever. I have it set to always. And this is, your standard permit. This was the heading we did. These are is the footer that they have. I have no idea what it actually says. It's just something we copied and pasted. And this is your information. And again, if you've customized this, it will, whatever you want. If you want it to say issue date instead of date issued, it will say that if you change your custom form to say that. Now, you'll notice this preview, on this preview screen, you have several options. This is where you can send it as an email. We have that option now, but you have to do it manually, right? We bring up, but this will automatically attach your permit. So if you want to, you have to say, I want page 1, say okay, ask you what name you want to do, and we want to call this 21001. And it brings up your email. Yes, I know that too. Brings up the right email with that PDF attached to it. And then you just fill in your email address. Now, this also has options for exporting. You can export to a PDF. You can export to an HTML for a web page. I am not very familiar with this. If you want it to be a Word document, you can do that. I've not explored these options, so I don't really know, what you get when you get a DOCX, but you have those options available. And of course, all the little things that go, I hate pictures. Give me a print button. But quick print, you can not scale it. You can magnify it. You can search for things, whatever you choose. This is your magnifier. Okay, magnify, plus. I'm not sure why that won't work, but this gives you the scale as well. Text page width. You can look at it any number of ways. And this is true for all reports, anything you preview. This same options will appear across the top. Now, one of the things that is new to the system is looking up inspections while you're in a permit. You had that ability before, but you couldn't do anything. So if you look up an inspection now, based on your system options, it will bring up a copy of the inspection record and there's 9 inspections for this particular permit. It's a subset of the records that go with the one you're looking at. And you can edit this record from here. You can, excuse me, and you can delete one if you need to. If it was inadvertently scheduled and doesn't really need to be there, you can do that. But this gives you the inspection record, and you can review the inspections right from here, preview the report, and you'll notice on this history, all the inspections, and then they have a failure that's been unresolved. On the inspection history report, any inspections that have failed or even conditional approval and have not been resolved will have a yellow highlight on them. So you can know immediately there's a problem.
That's nice.
So it's easy to spot. I can't tell you how many support calls we've gotten that says, I can't figure out why this CO won't print and won't process because it says I have outstanding failures and I can't find them. Well, this will let you find them in a heartbeat. So you can find them immediately. Now, the other advantage is there is a hover button on the inspection screen. If you hover over it, it tells you what prior approved inspections have done. If you hover over outstanding, you've got outstanding violations. If you want to see what's been scheduled but not done, okay. And that's a straight, you don't have to look them up anymore. If you're trying to schedule this framing, well, did their foundation or slab inspection pass? You can find out immediately.
That is awesome. That is wonderful. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun to program. It really was. I have I have a lot of people to thank for this. Getting me through this is like it's learning a new language and a new database. And I have a wonderful, wonderful teacher, a gentleman out of Dallas, and he has been tutoring me privately for almost a year now. We meet every 2 weeks via TeamViewer, and he has taught me so much. You should see my coursework. Okay, so that covers. Now you have a closed window. So if you edit this and try to close the permit window, it says please close the inspection window before you do that. And again, and the photographs here. Now this one doesn't have but one. I have more in the code enforcement I can show you. We'll close that window. Okay, that covers a building permit. Let's look at trade. We'll find another. Come on, pay attention. Oh, permit number. I think this is a trade permit. Yeah, this happens to be demolition, but this is the same for all trades, whether it's plumbing, electrical, mechanical, insulation, right-of-way, erosion control, anything. They all look the same way. So we have the usual stuff. Of course, this is a trade permit, so it doesn't have square footage and things like that. The electrical, we do add power company back to the screen on that. It all works the same way, the same choices as far as subdivisions and drop-down lists, your project codes. Now, project codes, you'll notice this list, I just dropped it down. Lists like this are what I call lists to scale. So if you have 1,000 entries and you're looking for one that starts with M, it's going to be about midway down the list. No matter how many you've got, if you've got 20, and it's going to be about midway down the list because M is in the middle of the alphabet. So, again, the scroll bar is scalable according to whatever you've got. An approval.
That looks cool, Jean.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Question? Okay. Approvals for trade permits are straightforward. You have your date fields, they're drop downs just like before. And then fees. We have 10 fees on all trade permits now, and that has not changed. And again, payment sections on the right, depending upon whether you're an inspection service company like Jackie, you'll have an option to say paid at municipality.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So in the system, when we set up your system, there's a switch that says, hey, this client's an inspection service. And so we have, instead of asking you for subdivision, we'll ask you for township.
Awesome.
It's
That's
just
perfect.
little modifications that make sense to you, but don't make sense to, say, a Southampton County or Marion County, an actual municipality. You have clients and they have customers. So,
right. That's perfect.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And we'll reprint this permit. I'll reprint the receipt at this point. And I'm printing it to my PDF printer. Again, you can see it looks pretty much the same as what we're doing already. Nothing special about it. And preview. Again, they don't have any headers or footers defined for their demolition permits. And I don't know why it's got 2 pages, but okay, this is, like I said, it's about 90% done. I'm sure I'm running into stuff. Demo preview has 2 pages. I need to find out why. This has an option to allow, if something is 2 lines, it will grow the page. And I suspect that my issue 2 might have pushed it over. I should say, don't let that grow. All right, that covers, your permits, the day-to-day operations. Once the permit's final, you can see in the lower left, it will tell you whether it's been final or not. If it has, you'll have a date there. Okay, let's talk about inspections. Code enforcement and regular inspections. Again, you have the usual stuff. You have who took it, job location, who's the owner. Again, you have your approved inspections, any outstanding failures, any incomplete inspections, whether it's a reinspection or not. Is it a commercial project? Is that important? And notes or remarks, you can send your results via email. On the email option, if you issue separate trade permits, for those of you who issue plumbing, electrical, mechanical, in addition to the building permit, if you email the results to a trade contractor, it will also email a copy of the email to your general contractor so that he can keep track. That was a request from somewhere in Tennessee, I think. Excuse me. And you have...
Can I ask you a question, please? Just curious. The toolbar says there are 27,104 records. Where is the number that corresponds to that on the form?
Okay. This is a record count of the database. The 27,000 is a record count of the database.
Right.
That's all it is. It's how it's in record number order. So this is record 1 of 27,000. Right. But the individual records have their own record number. Each record has its own record number, which is the top line for its number. Yeah.
Okay. I get you.
Yeah, record count.
So if you wouldn't be using the toolbar all that often to look for a specific record then?
No, we have a font. You can look up by address, by the record number itself.
Right.
In the assigned record number, or by, in our case, what they call map number or parcel ID.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I understand.
Yeah, there's no question. On the old system, we have the question mark. Excuse me, that lets you look up by whatever index you were on, but we limit that here. Okay, and printer tickets, of course. You can preview it, of course, and you can see for this particular inspection. Okay, oh, I don't have all the information on here, that's why. Okay, it's blank. Okay, I need to know, but this is an ancient record from 2004, so I'm not sure I have all the information on it. Okay, and then of course we have a today's inspections. If you're entering, you're at the end of the day and you want to enter your inspection results, you have a look up today's inspections. That's the easiest way to do that. And then of course we have photographs, and I don't have any to upload, but I'll show you on the code enforcement. It works exactly the same way.
I'll send you a photo of our Jack Russell Terrier.
Okay, it's funny. This computer's name is Max, and the computer's named after my Jack Russell Terrier, who passed away a couple of years. I figured that was one of my best ways to honor him. He was a force to be reckoned with. Okay, code enforcement hasn't changed all that much. We have the same information, where, who's responsible, scheduled for, any of that information is there. Send results via email. But attached photographs, here we go. This is where I have more than one. And
yep.
you can just scroll through them.
So cute.
This is my favorite, but that's not one of mine. The director of our rescue, that's a picture of 3 of hers.
Oh,
But I have a collage in my downstairs powder room of nothing but, I have about 20 different photos in a collage.
they're adorable.
They're the best they are, let me tell you. I have 3 of them now. And I have fostered, I think last count, it was 38, I think.
Wow.
38, over 10 years I've been
Thank you
doing
for that.
So, but you know, that gives you the ability, and then you have your form letters as well. Now we've added some features to the form letters. In fact, let's do that. Let's go look at that form letter. You have now, instead of 3 sections, you have 5 sections, and then you can tell us what order they should be in. And you can type in, you know, whatever your paragraphs are. For example, the first paragraph should be an inspection was done at the above referenced address and found a violation. And then maybe the second section is the violation is described as follows. And you want to follow that with the remarks that you, for that particular inspection, say the grass is 10 inches high. And then the third section might be, the property was found to be in violation of the following ordinance. And then you would choose whatever ordinance it is when you're assembling that letter, your overgrown weeds and yard, grass and weeds ordinance, whatever that might be. And maybe followed by, here's what you need to do now. And the last section would be your contact information, however you would normally sign a letter. Now, I don't have this working at the moment. I discovered that this morning. So I can't demo it. That's one of the bugs I'm working out. But that's the idea of it, is that you have up to five sections, and you can rearrange them if you need to, rather than try to copy and paste and put them in the right order again. And you can edit that, obviously. And then, so you can have up to 3 letters. The typical example is an overgrown yard. You drive by, the grass is 10 inches high, you leave a warning for them saying they need to cut their grass. Well, 10 days later, they still haven't, so you take official action, send them another letter saying they have 5 days to cut the grass, otherwise the city's going to do it for them. And then 5 days later, they haven't cut their grass, so you send them another letter saying they now owe $200 because the city cut their grass for them. That's where the 3 remarks come in. For a particular complaint, you have 3 remarks sections. So you can copy and build your form letter according to whatever's going on. First would be use your warning letter. Second letter you would send might be called pending action. And the third letter you send might be called action taken, you know, something along those lines. That gives you the ability to track exactly what you did for this particular complaint.
Jean, I know these are complaints. Is there some place in there that you can do form letters for like code compliance reviews?
What do you mean code compliance reviews?
When the plans come in and the building official reviews the plans, and then he sends out a letter stating what needs to be sent back into the office, corrected and sent back in.
You can use this for anything.
Okay.
Create a record, you know, and say, and you can, it doesn't, the computer does not care that it's not related to a physical, you know, it's not an actual code enforcement issue. We use it for stop work orders. You know, it really doesn't matter.
Okay.
The remarks section will give you the ability to say, hey, we need this information back from you.
Okay. Thank you.
And that is particular to that record. So, and if you create a form letter, you don't need a section that says, you know, this property is in violation. You know, you could, the first section could say, we've reviewed your plans and we need this information, and
okay.
that type of thing. Yeah, create your own letters according to whatever you need them for.
Okay.
And that will give you, now, will you have created a permit record at that point?
No.
No, okay. So it's an application. Well, would you have put it on as an application?
I haven't utilized that in that way, and so that's something I need to look at.
Yeah, you can put it on the system and just wait for approvals, and that's what the process normally is. You know, create the permit record and say, okay, we need approval from the building official, we need approval from Public Works, or we need approval from the health department. And then that way you have a number to reference when you're doing your letter.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, that was code enforcement. Ordinance is the same thing. This is where you would put in your townships or county or whatever ordinance. Now, they don't have anything in here. Here we go. They have, this is right off the municipal code. But you can put any of that in there so that when you're writing your form letters, you can cite them, the section and subsection of the code that they are in violation of, whatever it might be, whether it's they've cut down a tree they're not supposed to. That happens in South Carolina. They have protected trees down there, whether usually their grass has not been cut, or there's an unsafe building, the porch roof is dilapidated, whatever it might be.
I have a question about that. Is that just conducive to a single municipality, or would that work for us for our 50-some municipalities? How would that work?
Sure. Yeah, that works.
We could break it down to each specific municipality.
Sorry, I've got. I love that my phone reads me my text messages, but not when I don't want it to. Okay, no, in code enforcement, you have by township.
Okay, perfect. That's
Yeah.
going to be great. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, we have, see your subdivision table is up here.
Okay, so
And
those
that's
can be
right.
specific.
Yeah, and you can do code enforcement by area, your reports.
Okay, that's going to work
Yeah.
great. Okay, thanks.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right, that pretty much covers the day-to-day left, on the left panel, adding and updating records. Looking up is the same. Inspections are the same. COs, if you look up a CO, it's pretty much the same information. We did add, we're going to add a second and third occupancy group to this screen. I've had requests for when there's a mixed-use building and they ask the building official to recertify it because it's being bought. That was the scenario that was proposed, and they need a mixed-use certificate. So we're going to add a second and third use group to that. My picture a three-story building. First floor is retail, second floor is a law office, and third floor is an apartment. And it's being sold. So they're asking the building official to do a certificate of occupancy so that it makes sure it's up to code. There's no work being done. It's already up to code, but they just need a certification. So we'll be adding a second and third use group to that.
Jean, can I ask you, if you click on the Find by Owner, for example, does it give you a sort of a drill down with the, here we go.
This is just a list. And like I said, they have 700 records, and if you're looking for M's, it's going to be about midway down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have this is not a drop down. This is strictly a list.
Okay, right, good, thank you.
All right, and then money, looking up money, that hasn't changed. Oh, Ashley, remind me to show you business license. None of this has changed. You have to find by date, by transaction number, by receipt from. You can edit the receipt for the things that you misspell their name. You want to enter their check number. You can correct their check number. All of that's still available. And reprint the receipt is still here. And then how many do pending approvals. I'm not sure how many use this option. Okay, let's say it needs to be reviewed by Donald in Southampton County, or it needs to be reviewed by public health, or it needs to be reviewed by whoever else you might have. You'll notice this is, they have the electrical department review permits for some reason, and it narrows it down to the 3 that they need to look at. And so before they had to look up each one, ask it each time, show me what's left, show me what's left, show me what's left, but that's not true anymore. This gives you everything you need right here. So I don't know how many route permits for approvals by other departments, but that's been a major change. Okay, reports. Reports have not changed very much. Here's detailed monthly report. Yeah, we want to preview it. And again, it's the same, pretty much the same as what you have now. Broken down residential, commercial. And you can notice on this, there's no longer there's a next page button at the top, but you can just keep scrolling down. You get to get all the pages. You don't have to click that button anymore. And it gets you, all your information is there. Now this is a abbreviated report. It can be up to 12 pages long, depending upon how busy you are. And then you have the usual by area or district. Jackie, this is where you pull your township reports.
Right, and it works great. Nothing's changed there?
Nope, nothing's changed. Permits by date range. You have, you can say all, this is your drop down. Okay, let's do, and we want building permits only. Yeah, let's see. I want, I think this one. And print the inspections. You can add the inspections to it. You can get your permits and all your inspections in one report.
Perfect.
Other reports include your project code recap has been the same. I'm not
Hey,
sure.
Jean,
Yes.
I have a question on that. On that project code recap by date range or any of these reports, it looks like when you pop that screen up, do you have the option there to also email that?
When you bring up the report, yes. All when you preview any report, you have the email up. Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was added as part of the tool. As a tool I bought to go with the development software, and it's part of their suite of tools that I love.
Okay, yeah, that's great, because I have a lot of people who ask for monthly reports
Sure.
of what we've issued, so that's great to be able to just email directly to them now.
Yep. You can anything that you preview a report, you can email.
Okay,
And
thank you.
it will, again, if you tell it, I want to email it as a PDF, you have to give it a name. And if you only want to send them a few pages, you can do that too. And then it brings it up your email client with that PDF attached. You no longer have to attach it manually. Okay, all right.
Great,
and then
thank you.
Permit status report has changed a little bit. Don't ask me why it went back. This is one of the ones I don't have my resize function working. You want to know everything that's pending. They applied between this date and that date, but I want to know, what's not been issued. Tell me what has been issued but no inspections, and that falls under category 2 or 3. All open permits give you 2, 3, and 4, as in they pulled a permit but no inspections, or it's inspections underway, or you have just inspections underway report. You can do one, you can have a mixture. You can do either one. If you care about this is all open permits. This will give you everything that's been issued and has not been finalized, basically. And then these are the ones that are calling for inspections now. You know, it doesn't include the one you issued yesterday that they probably won't call for inspection till next week or the week after. And then closed with a CO, these are building permits that had COs, and closed without a C, that's everything else. If it didn't have a CO or certificate of completion, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, re-roofs, what else? Oh, fences and sheds and decks and things like that, they get a status 6. They're closed, but they didn't get a CO. Does that make sense to everybody?
So Jean, no more, you can't like void out, there was what, 7 and 8?
Oh, sure you can. Yep. In fact, there is a voided permit report.
But no, I
Permit
mean the choices went up to 6 that you just had.
Oh, no, that's not, no, that's the permit status. Right,
Right.
you're right. No, these are permits that were issued. Voided permits are not considered issued.
Or canceled permit.
Sorry, say that again?
Canceled permit. Someone that's pulled a permit and then
Withdrew it. Like sometimes they'll pull a permit and withdraw it. I didn't mean to cut you off. And it'd be a
That's all right.
status 8.
Right. Well, you have a report for that specifically, voided permits report. On the right column, on the second item. If you want to know what permits have been voided, because status is about issued permits. The voided permits about ones that you voided or denied, for that matter.
okay, I see the report you're speaking about. I just didn't see that choice in what you just showed.
No, the permits no, it's a separate report. It's not going to be included in the status report. Status
Okay.
is about open working permits, things that are legitimate, basically status 1 through 6. And
Okay,
then
I hear what
anything
you're saying.
else is in a separate report.
Okay.
And then the usual other reports, address history, permit aging reports. Now we added an extra on that where you have, you can choose what expiration dates you want to look for. If you're looking for a particular time frame, you can do that. Excuse me. Permits by contractor, permit comparison reports. These are standard reports that have always been there. Permit summary. I haven't got the custom report is not working yet. I haven't written it. I need to chew on that one a little while. And then the usual other reports, expired COs, permits awaiting approvals, anything that, that goes with the pending approval report. You're waiting on building to approve the plans, or you're waiting on the health department to give you a septic tank permit, or whatever it might be. And then permits final by date, that gives you want to know what got finals this month. That way you can tell your tax assessor, hey, these need to go on the tax rolls. This new house got finished. So now you need to start sending them real estate tax bills. And export data has been given a facelift, if nothing else, where you can export to Excel or save as a CSV, either one. Let's see, other report inspections, pretty much the same. A single permit, building and related, by date range, by inspector, by type, ISO report, your code enforcement, you have the same options. Jackie, here's your inspections by subdivision, which would be your township for code enforcement.
Yes, I was looking at your one of the other reports that you have, and I wondered if we can even break that down by county in addition to but I'll talk to you aside from that.
Yeah,
Some
okay.
of your updates have they're going to be conducive to our scenario.
Okay. All right, and then the usual, and this particular jurisdiction does rental inspections. they have an ordinance that says when a rental unit is turned over, vacated, or sold, or the unit is sold, the building is sold, they require an inspection. So that's why they have the rental inspection module. Excuse me. Now, we have a couple of other custom modules. I don't know if anybody needs them or not. Rental inspections, we have fire marshal billing, inspection billing, we have elevator inspection billing, business licenses, which Ashley, you have. Again, nobody's asked me, Jeff, you did ask me about rental, but I don't think this would work for you as far as I can tell. I'll show it to you at some time if you like. But
okay, what's the difference between the rental inspections and just a rental type inspection? What would be the difference between those?
I don't have it turned on here to show you. Normally it would appear on this fourth option. Let me show you the rules. Bear with me, folks, just a minute. These are the rules for when do you inspect a rental inspection, and do you issue certificates, how much do you charge? But it's based on the parcel file. That's the main thing. And I don't think, and do you do inspections on behalf of the county or township or behalf of the owner?
Municipality. We do them on behalf of the municipality.
Okay. All right. Well, that might work. We'll go over that separately. I'll keep going. Okay.
Okay.
Financial, that hasn't changed by single date, by revenue, by account number, and if you have business licenses, we have all the usual stuff. Excuse me. If you do the usual date range, you get different calendars now, but that's it. But it's all the same. Summary and detail, preview the report. You have the same options across the top, and just scroll down, and you get your report. Anybody who collects money in their office needs this. This is the one where you need your report to balance your cash drawer so you can turn your money in. Okay, like I said, money reports, and then the usual print out the contents of your master file. And this is a 46-page report. Watch how fast it is. No, I want everybody. Done. This is, like I said, this is a 46-page report. Now, for comparison, I have the same set of data. Yes, I know. Oh, come on now. Oh, I'm running it on the other system. That's right. Where is it? Here. This is the same data set. Oh, no, I don't want that. I want master table, contractors. No. Yes, I want everybody. And you'll notice it's counting up. Preview the report.
This is going to be awesome.
You can see the speed difference in something big. You know, this took 10 seconds where the other took 3. You know, and over time, that makes a difference. Excuse me. Okay, and master tables, fee tables, like I said, they all work the same way. It's just a printout of the contents of your master file. The only major change we made in inspection tickets is that your trip sheet now prints out in address order. Thank you, Ron Wilson with Bradley County. He's like, can you please put all the permits that have the same address together? I'm like, of course we can. Nobody's ever asked us for that before, but we can do that. So, you know, if you've got a plumbing and electrical and a mechanical rough-in at the same address, you want them together on the trip sheet. So that was the improvement we made there. Let's see, if we look at the 4, we'll print trip sheet only. Okay. I want a preview. And you can see it's the same information. If you have a scheduled time, it'll show there. All the addresses for 241 Buckingham are together. And then it goes alphabetically after that. Okay, now I had asked for wish list items, and I've gotten quite a few, which we love. We love. Anything else you can think of that you would, hey, it would be nice if it do this?
I do have a question, Jean, on that, on a wish list item, and I don't think I sent it to you, but I thought about it later. On scheduling inspections, like you were talking about, if you have like an electrical, plumbing, mechanical, all at the same address. Previously, we have to go in and, you know, enter it for the one and then go back and enter for each of the others. Is there any way to get a drop down once you enter one permit number and then pick all of the permits, all the inspections that you want for that particular permit for that day?
Okay, all right, let me clarify the scenario. Okay, we have a plumbing, okay, let's say they call for a plumbing, mechanical, and electrical rough-in. That's that what we're talking about?
Correct.
Okay, well, you put in your plumbing rough-in, and that has its own permit number, right?
Well, all three would be under the same permit number.
Oh,
for instance,
okay.
like if we issue a permit for new construction, we issue all of the trades in on that same permit so that we don't have 5 separate permits.
Okay, all right. So you need, so in other words, I think we've got it set up. So do you want to add another inspection for this permit or look up the same permit again? Something along
right.
that line.
Currently, I think that's how it works. It says when you go back to re-enter, it says, do you want to look up for the same permit number? And we say yes.
Yes. Well, you have to do that. You have to do that in order, you know, we can't schedule multiple inspections with one record.
Okay.
Yeah. The only option you'd have on that is to create an inspection type that is a combination, which you can do, rough in all. You know, I have lots who do that. They create a single inspection type that covers as many rough-ins as they want, you know, rough-in 4, rough-in 3. They have a single inspection type. The problem is, if the plumbing part of that fails and the others don't, you have to fail the whole thing.
Right.
So if you want them to have individual records, you must create individual records so they can pass and fail individually.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
And I do have a second question as well. On entering for a new permit, on the old system, it used to print the setbacks when we printed the permit. It does not currently. Is there any way to get that back to when we issue the actual permit, it will print the setbacks?
Okay, let me make sure we're capturing them. I think we are. I'm just double checking behind myself. Okay, we have setbacks here. Okay,
right.
So let's look at the custom permit. Yes, I know. Let's look at the building permit, if that's where it would be. All right, let's see. Do I have setbacks? No, but I can. See this list of items that you can add to a permit? Remarks, project value. That's the data elements that are on that you would put in. We want to add setbacks, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do you need all 4?
Yes, please.
Okay, all 4 setbacks to custom. Okay. Because not everybody needs them. If you need them, we need to have it available for you to choose when you customize your permit. Okay. Add back to my list of Post-it notes. Okay, so what we would do is add that to the list: setback, a left setback, right setback, front setback, that type of thing. And you can decide where it would go. You've got some room under value of improvement out of the box. That's what it, there's room there. And that way you just add that. And you can add a label that says setbacks, and then left, right, front, back. And then you would drag the element that has that information into it. Now it would print on all permits, all building permits. And if it's blank, it'll just print blank, Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we can do that. Like I said, that's the wish list item we're looking for. I don't do your job. And I have a general idea of what you might need, but I'm not perfect, and I am more than willing to say, hey, if you need this, we'll add it. Because we want it to fit you like a glove. And our idea of how long your fingers are is not necessarily the right idea. Okay, anybody else got questions?